Flight Blades. Jeff, I know you have some strong feelings about this, so I'll let you take them away.
Okay, earning stuff is what makes the game fun. It's the journey, and when you sell the journey, then you're already at the destination from when you boot up. And what's the point of just being at the destination?
That's one way you can generate interest, and interest is going to bring money for the game, which is obviously how it's funded.
All these Flight Blades should have been earned in-game only. We need to see a massive emphasis on earned in-game only stuff.
It's worked on every free-to-play game ever. I don't know, Star Citizen's not a free-to-play game, but the marketing model of...
I have an issue with the fact of how quickly they did a U-turn. I know listening to community is great and all that, but...
Far away from that, because the more if they keep going down that route, they're going to kill the game before it's even done.
Good evening, citizens. Tonight, we've got a lot to get through. This week, we've had the highs with the long-awaited Idris release and the lows with the release of the Flight Blades onto the store. We're going to talk about all that tonight, and if you stick around until the end, you'll get to find out if you have won the Drake Golem with LTI, courtesy of the Jump Point Network. Boys, we like to end on a high, don't we? So, should we tackle the lows? Specifically Flight Blades. Jeff, I know you have some strong feelings about this, so I'll let you take them away.
Okay, just chuck me in there. Yeah, no, I think for once, and we'll make this really brief, guys, because we don't want to sit here and dwell on this for a long time. I think every single content creator and podcaster and Star Citizen player in the universe has spoken about this over the last few days, and so we'll make it quick. Basically, the issue comes down to selling something on the store devalues something in the game. It takes away gameplay. You don't have to grind for it, you don't have to work for it, so therefore that item becomes basically not valuable. They may as well make that a standard part of the ship package at that point if you're selling it on the pledge store. Now, it's not really anything to do with the blades. All in all, it's just selling anything on the pledge store. Armor, weapons. We've kind of just got used to it and we've accepted it because we're not idiots. No one out here is stupid. We understand that a CIG is a business, has to make money. It's a crowdfunded program, etc., etc. So they have to sell stuff to make money. We completely get that, and that's not really the complaint. The point is, there are other ways, other avenues. We've got ship sales, but there are other ways for CIG to make money and be profitable, keep the game afloat, keep developing, and not have to ruin potential future gameplay. What does the future look like? What else is going to be sold? Where do we stop? Where does the buck stop? Where do we come to a stage where we say, no, we can't sell anything more on the store now because what's the point of playing the game? What's left to earn? We have that problem with ships. We're going to have it with armor. We're going to have it with guns. At some point, there's going to be nothing really to earn in game. And this is where the problem lies. It sets a precedent. If they can sell flight blades, they can sell modules for your ship, or well, they actually do. But they can start selling med beds for your ship. They can start selling military grade A components on the pledge store if they want. The point is, where do they stop? And this is why it's such a problem. And this is why I'm glad the community has taken such a heat towards CIG to say, no, guys, you've missed the mark. Stop this now before it goes too far. But that's my 2 cents. How do you guys feel about it?
Go on, Doc.
I'm going to shut my door quickly.
Okay, I'll do it then. So someone posted online stats around the flight blades, and the one that increased your speed by about 50%. It's not speed, it's acceleration. So it's to your max speed, which is, if you know anything about the way the current state of like fighting is quite insane. If you're in a knife fighting situation and you're jousting someone and you have 50% more acceleration than the other person, you are going to be disregarding handling blades, nose on faster every time, guns on quicker, like in and out before they've realized. So people say it isn't really pay to win, but I mean, statistically, it is on a like for like skilled player. If you are fighting someone that's better skilled than you, then yes, you're going to lose. And yes, it is only for a couple of individual ships. So at this moment in time, it doesn't make a big difference. The only ones that really going to cause issues are the blades for like the Gladius. Like, you're not going to start shooting people down in an MPV cargo just because you've got master flight blades, are you? So it's not an issue now, realistically, because of the ships they've released it with. But like you said earlier, it does set a precedence on what is left to earn. All these flight blades should have been earned in-game only. We need to see a massive emphasis on earned in-game only stuff coming out, because what's the point? Like the Antium armor, it created so much gameplay around the Hathor stations. If you couldn't get the Antium armor around the Hathor stations, what was the point of playing it? What was the point of doing it, other than maybe something else that was exclusive? But it created gameplay. If all those Antium armor sets were released onto the gear store, the subscriber store, then people wouldn't have bothered playing. People wouldn't have bothered doing it. So I think they need to. And I know a lot of their funding comes from ships and stuff, and I'm not asking for ships to be in the loot pool, but for stuff like that, it needs to be earnable in game. Not by looting as well. I just saw a message about contested zones. You don't want to be looting these in the contested zones. Maybe find an A grade one, which has like percentage better stats over a normal base flight blade, but you should be able to buy all flight blades. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but then that creates more content. Come on, CIG. You're creating content for a game that at the minute, realistically, doesn't have a lot of content. It's got so much content, but at the same time, none at all.
Yeah, because you can buy it all.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy it. So yeah, I have an issue with the fact of how quickly they did a U-turn. I know listening to community is great and all that, but the fact that they've gone back on it so quickly, I think was a bit. It kind of showed me that they knew it was going to cause outrage. They were expecting it to cause outrage, and they were like, "I'll tell you what, I'll have this message copy and pasted." And then when someone kicked off and it got like downvoted like 4,000 times or whatever it was, and it was like, "Oh yeah, we're actually not going to do this. We're going to go back on this," kind of thing. There's someone in, and I know the game is driven by marketing, and this was all a push from marketing. I can probably assure you of that. Someone should have turned around and said, "Wait, the community are going to think this is a terrible idea. Fuck it, push it anyway." Come on. Come on, boys.
It feels like every new feature or anything new to the game, whether it's in-game or on the store, just anything features armor, vehicles, it just feels like it all goes through the marketing team. It feels like, as you say, they run the game, and that's a real problem. Things that should be found in the game that make it interesting to play, that give us a reason to play. Because at the end of the day, if there's nothing to earn or to obtain or to progress, then no one's going to play the game, because the game becomes pointless because it's not a game anymore. Progression and earning stuff is what makes the game fun. It's the journey, and when you sell the journey, then you're already at the destination from when you boot up. And what's the point of just being at the destination? So yeah, they're selling the journey. I think that's the best analogy that I can say. They're selling the journey, and that's the problem. One Duck, what do you think?
I think I joined the rest of the community in a level of shock that what we'd heard about and knew was coming for quite some time just ended up on the pledge store. Like, something so small and particularly insignificant can just be, oh yeah, let's have some money. I'm with you in that it should have been in-game and lootable in select locations, much like the CZs and the Scorching components, where you could potentially, I mean, we've focused already on like the negativity. It's on the store, it's happened, whatever. Let's leave that part behind and move to where we would have liked to have seen them and how they could potentially get out of the hole, which is a very difficult hole legally, spread in like between different countries and stuff to get out of. So I would like them to put them into lootable areas, to make them tier based, like CJ touched on, like having scorched ones within the CZs or the exec hangars. But instead of getting the pack of 2, you could just get 1. So it's going to promote communication and trading amongst the community, which is going to really sort of generate a lot of chat. It's going to people will be talking online, people will be setting stuff up, and the more people are going to see those posts and go, "What is this game?" That's one way you can generate interest, and interest is going to bring money for the game, which is obviously how it's funded. So whilst you need to look at, we need funding, therefore this exists, as opposed to this exists and this is how we achieve funding, which is, look what the contested zones and exec hangers, as Average Ash has mentioned already, it generated so much interest and activity in the game. And then through that, people are like, I'm invested in this game. I'm playing a lot more in it. Like, I'm spending a lot more time in the verse. Let's invest and upgrade this ship that keeps getting blown up, and dipping some money in here and there. But I feel like they really missed the beat on that ability to really start get trading going by saying, right, okay, they're here, they're everywhere, you're gonna have to find them. I pull a redeemer, like straight maneuverability blade, and I don't have a redeemer. I'm gonna naturally look for who can I trade with. I'm looking for a gladius in the straight line. But one thing that I do think is, I don't really think it's necessarily pay to win, where people he's going to add more speed or more maneuverability. It's one or the other. So it keys into that player's modus operandi or how they play the game. So if you are a Firebird pilot and you have a straight line blade, you can be a lot faster in that direct straight line. If you then couple that with the meta build for stealth, meaning that you're not really going to be able to be detected, be seen, or like hit with a missile, then that straight line blade is going to add dividends to your input, meaning you're going to be able to get in, hit the target faster, and get out. But once he's dumped all his missiles, if he then decides to turn around with his two size 2s on the Firebird and engage with the target, two size 3s, he then turns around. Well, then he's at a loss, depending on the ship he's going up against, because they're going to potentially have more maneuverability than he is. So it all depends. If you lean into your particular playstyle with these, and you hone it, and you're very disciplined in how you fly, then it's going to add. It's going to be brilliant for those players.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's going to be cool. What they also touched in is this isn't obviously the first iteration of it. So these blades will go into what would be known as the computer on ships. So the computer will have a number of blades, and I assume that means that they're going to delve into maybe a blade for other aspects of the ship. So instead of thrusters, it will have an aspect for maybe shields or your weapons. It might increase your recharge speed. So instead of directly modifying the weapons, you're enhancing the weapons by use of blades. But as well as your turrets as well are going to have the AI blades. So I think later on down the line, not right now, but later on down the line in 35 years, we're going to start seeing so many blades that the ones we have currently aren't going to be an issue, because you're going to pick up a hammerhead, and if you're going to want to fully AI crew it, you might completely max out your computer. So you might not be able to take these certain blades because they have to, you've only got a certain amount of slots for AI blades, for example. I do really want to touch on what Easton said, though. Doesn't really have a problem with selling the blades, but it's the problem they're locked in the paint skins. So the thing I'm getting a little bit annoyed of, and I know why they're doing it, is releasing certain armor skins with guns and ship skins with something else, but they're releasing them war bond only. And I know why they're doing the armor sets and the weapons. So the old for the last patch, the glowy horn armor set with the Corsair paint. They've done that because of Tier 0. They released it war bond with a Vault gun. The only way you're able to get this Vault gun without obviously looting. They've released it war bond only, so it's Tier 0. So they were like, yeah, Tier 0, you don't lose your armor anymore. Here's a $30 armor set. Go buy it. Because now you only need to buy it once.
And that armor's not in the game either, specifically that gold armar, that black and gold. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. It shouldn't be like that.
But it may be in the next. But it'll be the next patch. The next patch cycle is when all of the subscriber gear and stuff like that ends up in the store. So I believe that I believe they're either in the loophole now or they will in the next major patch cycle.
At some point when the go on. Finish.
With the patch packs that's come up, you have to buy the blades to buy the ship, and I'm pretty sure they're the ship paints, and I'm pretty sure they're warbond only as well. So
Yes,
you have to pay
yeah.
new cash for them. So I think that's a bit of a con. I don't know why they're doing it. They need the money, and people will buy it with store credit, and it kind of defeats the purpose. And people can just buy it for store credit, so that they don't earn any money from it. But like, just they've kind of announced all this stuff and then instantly drop in warbond only and not phased it in. Like if they're if this the Vault gun in the Corsair paint set you were able to purchase in game, it's not an issue. But at the minute you can't, like you said. Like the only way to get certain aspects of that bundle is paying new money only, and it's not a cheap set. It's probably one of the most outrageously priced things on the RSI store. So yeah, I just think some of the Ruben, the funding chart is insane, considering they ain't really done much this year. So I don't really. There's got to be something else happening in the background. There's something happening in the background. They need the money or something.
The issue is as we go down the line, there needs to be a better. They need to start working on a better way to earn their money within their sales and stuff. They need to be strategizing for the future of when the game's out. Are they going to go subscription based only, like World of Warcraft style, which we all pretty much heavily doubt. But they need to start thinking about what else they can sell that's not going to ruin gameplay and take away the reason to go and do the grind, but they can still make good money from. Things like paints are a really good example. I don't think anyone really cares about earning paints in the game. It just is cosmetic. It's worked on every free-to-play game ever. And I know Star Citizen is not a free-to-play game, but the marketing model of you sell cosmetic items that do not affect a game, that do not ruin gameplay or anything like that, and do not require you to, do not take away from you having to grind to achieve it, and you add it into there, ship paints, weapon skins, go ham. Counter-Strike is one of the most profitable games of all time. It has always been through the skins on the store, and they're all cosmetic. They do nothing. And it's just because they look cool. There's nothing stopping Star Citizen really leaning into that and selling tons of paints, tons of skins. I implore them to do more things like that. I think it's the right way to approach it. Add more cosmetics. Let us customize our hangars and look different so they look, obviously we're not there yet, but base building. Let us paint our bases in different colors and have them different themes if we buy it on the store. Who cares about any of that? But when you start getting stuff that's like directly impacts the game and your ability to win or lose a fight, and then you sell it, no. Step far away from that. Because the more if they keep going down that route, they're going to kill the game before it's even done. Who's going to play a game where there's nothing to earn and you just buy your way to first place? The answer is no one. So I really, really hope they've taken a big step back at this. And I think they've missed the point of why people are angry. I think Xylo completely missed the mark on his response, to be honest, saying, it's in the game next month, guys. That's not the point, mate. That is so far from the point that everyone's annoyed about. They need to take a really big step back and go, right, we need to re-strategize how we're going to make money out of the backers. That sounds horrible, but, make money by selling into the game and making people... And also, as you say, build up the reason to play, the new players, intrigue people in. Are people going to be intrigued in when they just see that you can buy this stuff on the pledge store? No. They want to play a game that blows their mind, not blows their bank balance. Anyway, I think that's me done with that.
Hello.
No, you're right. No, you're
Sorry,
right.
Pete.
You're right. They already have a really good subscription model, so we should kind of just use it. But yeah. Let's carry on.
I won't talk for the next 25 minutes.
Well, that was everything we had to cover tonight here. Okay, I think we've done Flight Blades to death. I think everyone is now in agreement. and you will comply. Okay, bye. See you next week. However, obviously, we had the stealth release this week of the Idris, which some of us saw coming a little bit. Like, here's your subscriber for this flare for this month, an Idris PT shirt. It's like, are you just saying that because there's going to be a tour, or is this something more? To the point where I pulled out my Idris out of buybacks with store credit, and was like, right, let's go. And yeah, bet paid off this time.
Was you expecting the Idris to drop? Like genuinely expecting? I know there was lots of rumblings. Did you expect the Idris to drop the other day?
No, it was just a bet.
No?
It was just a bet. When I was like, oh, I got 2 buyback tokens. I'm buying anything else back, but let's do it.
I think I called it before the Beijing leak, but it was only because it kind of felt like it needed to happen. It was like an inkling. I was always under the impression it was going to wait until Squadrons to release, because that's what they've always said. But then the inner part of me was like, yeah, but they've said so much shit and not done it. So it could come out. And then when it came around to the Polaris being a plague and all that sort of stuff, I kind of expected something. And considering they weren't releasing things like the Perseus and stuff like that, I was kind of just like, they need to do something. They can't just release what we currently know is coming, because it's just going to be another 6 months of the same boring game. So I kind of expected the Idris to come out. Did not expect a T kit though. The T kit was quite a good little like side, like what's it called? When it takes you from surprise. I was sidelined by that by a little bit.
Are those,
yeah.
Is that the torpedo one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that in the game now?
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone firing size 12 torps. I've just seen the lasers.
Because who the f wants to fire a size 12 torp map when you got a fucking laser?
I would love to see a size 12 torp.
Get
Not
a
that it's going
Polaris,
to do
man.
any good. Well,
No,
that's
yeah.
size 10, isn't it?
Size 10, yeah.
2 sizes.
But-
There's a lot.
With the meta, Idris is a concoction between obviously the Idris, the K kit, and the T kit, and then using different turrets, different parts, different PDCs and stuff like that. And you also have to work out what positions you want the PDCs in, because like you don't want all the missile turrets and all the missile PDCs ending up on one flank of the vehicle, because then it's kind of pretty annoying. So someone's already created a guide of like, do you know when you're in the vehicle loadout manager and it's like PDC1, PDC2, PDC3? They've already created a guide on what number is actually what position aboard the Idris, so you can know where you're putting your missile PDCs and your Gatling PDCs and stuff.
I saved that earlier. I can't wait for Kevsky 3D to bring out a guide on shit.
I think that's going to be a while.
One man band.
Yeah, we need that though. We need that.
Do you guys ever feel like you're getting lost on the Idris?
Yes. I'm like, which side
Can I
am
give
on?
you? Can I give you some advice that I only found out the other day, and I might be like this. You guys might already know this, and maybe I'm the idiot. But did you know that if you open up your star map when you're on on a ship or wherever, scroll all the way in so you can see the actual ship, the Idris, aim somewhere on the ship that you want to go, like mess hall, gun place, whatever it's called, shooting range, the exit, the aft exit, and then press R. It plots a route on your Moby glass, and you can just follow it on your mini map like you're playing GTA or something, with like a little dotted line.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did not know that.
How cool is that?
I run around in a loop.
Yeah.
So I did find out though the first time I was in Idris, fuses do things.
Yes, they do,
Yeah,
don't they?
fuses definitely do things.
Especially when the person that is doing the research decides he's had enough and is going to log out halfway through, and then we continue on and try to fight with like one fuse being passed between 20 of us.
Don't
Your
blame me for
name
that.
was mud.
Yeah.
No.
I had to cut it out the video. The amount of times that people are like, freaking CJ, man, taking all the
No.
fuses.
They need to stay in the video. Just a quick cut at the end, like a super cut of "fuck you, CJ."
Honestly, I had to cut about. I'm not going to chuck who it was under the bus. I had to cut out about 6 times. Someone going, "Oh, CJ, man, I can't believe he's done this to us." It was so funny.
Oh, God damn it, Carrot! Leave me alone.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Good fun.
Obviously, everyone's saying there were the breadcrumbs, and we were like, yeah, it could be coming. That's why I pulled mine out. I was like, just in case, and, it came true. That was really cool. Really good to see. But yeah, I was perplexed as well because I did the old trick of jump on the table, jump over the railings at Area 18, risk absolute death to run around the top of the ship with Eason. And it took me back 10 years to like Quake 3 Arena. It just didn't look up to spec. When you compare it to the Polaris and something, it's just lacking in fidelity and detail and shape. And yeah, I know they're saying that the next model will come out with Squadrons, but I was like, nah, come on, man. Just, which one are you going to do? Are you going to release it or are you not going to release it?
That's what I'm saying. They had to release something because there's nothing in the game to kill Polarises.
Yeah, there had to be an answer to Polaris. It was getting ridiculous. It was just destroying gameplay when you go to Hathor and there's a Polaris. Like, why is the Polaris or even Idris allowed into atmosphere? Like, it's not going to be able to physically fly in atmosphere. It's not going to have the ability, physics-wise. It's just not going to be able to sustain flight. Why is it allowed? I'm hoping this is something that down the line, it's going to be like, this planet has got this much gravity, this much atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. And part of the exploration gameplay loop will be to discover what ships can go where in the verse. Which ones can traverse into atmosphere and which can't. Because you could have planets where the Scorpius can go in and planets where even something like that can't go in. And you need something even smaller. Or something with more thrust capacity. Maybe you've got to juggle your pips around to overcharge components to try and get out of. There could be a wealth for CIG to grow into when it comes to that. Thank you, Mango, for the subscription. There's been a couple of subscriptions tonight. Thank you so much to all of you. We've been full flow. We haven't missed them, but thank you very much for your support, especially with Prime.
With the
appreciate you.
Exactly. And if
I was running Hathor. Yeah. I was running Hathor last night, and we teamed up with another org, and we had a Polaris and an Idris down at the hole defending us. So they had like a few people on each of those while we were mining, and they were just defending, and people were coming down, and this Idris would just turn its laser to them, and we were invincible. So that was a bit ridiculous. But I completely agree with what you said, Pete. I think it would be amazing if ships like the Idris are just too big to hold their own weight in atmosphere, and you have to use your shuttle to go down. Yeah. You have to dock at a space station. You can't go and land at Area 18 with an Idris, blah, blah, blah. At the moment, obviously, because it's alpha and we need to just be accessible everywhere, then I get it. And it's good for testing data for CIG. But down the line, I very much so hope that's how the game plays. You have to take all your, maybe you could take all of your power out of weapons and shields and put them all into your thrusters, and only then can you sustain flight without continuously dropping in the Idris, let's say, when in atmosphere. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that would add a lot more to the game, having to use shuttles to go up and down. I kind of think that's on its way sooner than we think, because they've done the whole, you can now quantum to your own ships that are empty, so you can set them as a waypoint. But the other part of me thinks that's because now the Idris is here, you can just park it somewhere deep space and have... I mean, as I said, this org I was playing with last night, they had every ground vehicle you could imagine in the hangar of this Idris, just all lined up all the way along. I have to show you some footage after the stream. I'll go and find it. It was incredible. And it's like, oh yeah, you can just have... it's just a mobile base at this point. So, yeah, no, I hope that's what we get in the future. I think they released the Idris because the Polaris, but also money. It was a good money earner, right, to drop such a big ship. And they've already said it's the old model. The new model's coming when Squadron comes out, the updated model, as well as the one with the railgun, the M or whatever. Yeah, I think personally it's partly Idris' problem. The Perseus wasn't ready, so they had to have something come out to nerf the Idris, the Polaris a bit. And part of me is also it's money, right? The model was ready. It's been ready for Squadron for years. Get it out into the game, and great test data. Such a big ship, and there were no frame drops when we were flying that thing around. I didn't have any FPS issues when we were using it, which was beautiful. So they've done an absolute wonder with optimization.
There is one thing though with the Idris that I don't like.
You don't have one?
No, it's going to continue being the next plague, because you can solo pilot an Idris, and it is better in every regard than solo piloting than the Polaris. But the problem with the Idris is if you have 5 of them solo crewed, it will out DPS a single Idris that's fully crewed every time, because you can get 5 lasers simultaneously locked on, and we've all seen the images on social media where there's 5 Idris lasers hitting one ship, and that ship pops very bloody quickly. So I think it's they need to move the laser to a weapons seat or something. I think, because in big cap ships, in battleships and submarines in the real world, the person that's piloting the ship doesn't have access to weapons. They pilot the ship; that's their job. And there is a weapons engineer that fires the weapon. The captain or the XO tells weapons to power weapons up and get them ready and stuff like that. You saw it in the Squadrons video when they were talking about the shields, and they were talking to a person that was controlling the shields on the ship, not the captain, the XO. Or when they were talking about the weapons and getting things done, you speak to an individual that's in charge of that sector. So I think any ship, realistically, that's within this classification of capital, or even the subcap sort of like killer ship, like the Polaris, needs weapons, all formal weapons, to be under a different seat. In the bridge, but it just makes it 2 seaters at least.
My opinion on that is that they've done it on purpose just for now, for testing data, to get data about the lasers and about how quick 5 lasers would pop it, how much balancing is needed. I think they just wanted the test data. I think they have every intention to move it over to the cockpit seat or the weapon specialist seat for the laser firing mechanisms on the Idris. I don't think that's going to be a pilot weapon down the line. I 100% think that's just for testing data, to get as much data back to work with it. That's my 2 cents anyway. That's what I think they're doing.
Cool. What was the next thing we were talking about?
The MTC?
Yeah, the MTC. Because I mean, the information actually was out there in the PTU. We just hadn't seen it at that point. I saw it immediately after stream. I was like, oh wow, that's all it is. Like, it's a beautiful vehicle. And obviously, I'm maybe able to get out and test it yet, but I've been in it. And obviously, fidelity-wise, looks really nice, beautiful shape. Like, going back to when we saw the silhouette from CitizenCon, it's almost exactly what we thought it would be. But I don't feel that the vehicle is befitting of the name, the Mobile Tactical Center, because what is it doing? That, to me, that was like, right, okay, it's all about command and control, or C2, and what does it lend to the battle space? Which is where I was going on about how it could be like bubble shield or something, which it could be like a radar. I'm hoping that you could, down the line, remove, or if they make a variant where you remove the turret from the top and put a radar dish, which sees through stealth, and you have to deploy that asset if you want to have that upper edge over stealth capabilities. But then when it came out and it's just essentially a light armored Jeep with 2 turrets, or a turret with dual CF-117s on top, I think it is, and it was a bit of a letdown for the namesake. I had it built up in me that it was going to be something more than what it was. Beautiful, like I said, but unfortunately,
I walked around that ship and I analysed it, and it looked beautiful. And it is a beautiful looking ship with all the details. So like the vehicle art team obviously did a really good job on that. And as well as obviously the team that's behind certain aspects, like where the door sort of comes down and folds and tucks in between the wheels perfectly. They've kind of thought of everything that's a really bad design idea from all the other ships, the other ground vehicles, right? They've fixed a lot of things, as well as it's apparently really good off-road, doesn't roll over and bump and all that sort of stuff. But it's terrible in every regard as the vehicle. So, like, aside from, like, obviously the teams that created it, the vehicle itself is just crap.
Why?
What's the point?
Well, it's just another Ursa.
Yeah, well, no, it's not just another Ursa. It's severely worse than an Ursa. It carries less cargo. It can carry less weapons in general, because it can only carry those 4 armor-sized containers in the back. And it can take like a weapon, and it's got like an armor locker like inside, or 2 armor lockers, I think. When the Ursa can take a 1SU container or two 1SU containers.
Can I rebuttal this?
No.
Sorry, go on. Okay.
No, you can't. Go on.
All I was going to say is not everything has to be better than the other thing. Like it's the new ship. It doesn't necessarily have to be the better variant, right? Everything has to have balancing in the game. There's going to be ships that are better than others. Just because it's released after the Ursa doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better vehicle. It's having less cargo, having less weapons. Like that's fine to me because it's just a different ship and a different vehicle. It should be cheaper. I think it's $45, and I think the Ursa's $50. I want to say. So realistically, it should probably be like $35. But yeah, I just think it's fine the way it is. I'm fully on board with Pete. I think naming it the Mobile Tactical Center or whatever they called it, what the hell was that all about? Like they made it sound like it was going to be like a little mini base that could do something special. As you said, like bubble shields, or it could assist with base building or whatever. A deployable cover, a deployable shield pops out of it. Literally anything it could have been.
Keep the MTC torps.
Size 12 torps on the roof.
Okay, why not? And a
actually.
Yeah.
Surprise! It's missing a med.
He's got a point though. Mobile Tactical Center could be something where it's completely just modular and you buy the module for it. So you could have like anti-air that you just literally modularize and put on top. So take the turret off.
Oh, that's coming to the pledge soon.
Put radar on. Put you put anything you want on there that adds to that battle space.
Yeah.
So good point, Swanky. I know you didn't mean that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no. Like we've spoke about before, and if there is anyone here that has the opportunity to do certain things, I would love ground vehicles. Ground vehicles are in a terrible spot at this moment in time. There's almost no reason to take any ground vehicles other than the Blister or the Scorpius. So there's kind of the ground vehicles are in a really rough spot other than the Daymar rally. That's about it. But we need focus. We need emphasis on ground vehicle combat. They have a use. And we said
I keep interrupting.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but we said about the bubble shield. We said about the bubble shield before. If they come out of an MTC variant that just has a large scale shield emitter, then for that one ship alone, we'll change the focus on only ground-based combat. And I don't see how. I know it might not fit in with the lore or in the story, but realistically, I mean, how hard is it? Come on. Like that one idea. And I know they haven't got the tech for like shield emitters and stuff like that, and like bubble shields like from far distance. But if that's in the works, then it'd be great. Some form of shield emitter, even if it's not even on that, even if it's on a larger Atlas platform, or maybe the Atlas platform has a better one than the MTC would. I just think it'd be really cool to have that ground-based combat focus. Kind of like, it's not like, oh, what ships are we bringing to this org fight? That doesn't even cross your mind. It's what vehicles are we bringing? And then you're like, oh, what vehicles are we putting them in? We've got to carry them and all that sort of stuff now. And it becomes an org ground combat mission.
Yeah, I think Ruben's made a very good point.
Boy's just walked into the room when he's supposed to be in bed. Give me a sec.
Bless him.
I think Swanky's set off something in me now. I'm just like, right, okay, so this is much akin to, for the Americans, a Humvee, and for us, a Land Rover, where it is modular and you can, like, one chassis has many, many uses. And this really could have some legs to go somewhere if they made it modular and then added those modules. Yeah,
I think Ruben said something really good about the biggest problem with ground vehicles right now as being that CIG, because their planets are it's procedurally generated with the terrain. You get a rock every 3 seconds, and because there's no roads yet, which we know is on the way with Starchitect, but until we get roads, ground vehicles are going to be pretty useless because it's impossible to get. You just crash into a rock every 2 seconds and you lose a tire if you're in an Ursa.
Yeah.
But where I do find use out of ground vehicles is bunker running. Because at the moment, I don't know if you guys have spent any time around like bunkers around Stanton recently, but the turrets, I feel like they buffed the turrets to be really, really powerful when the tick rate in the servers was really low and the server FPS was really low, because then it had more chance it might hit you once and do some damage. And now that they've fixed that, my God, do a turret. I was in my Hornet and my F7A. I had all grade A components, all power and shields. About 3 shots from the turret hit me, took all my shields down, and took one of my wings off in 3 or 4 rounds that hit me. And they're very powerful, the turrets around bunkers. So it is good. So there are used to ground vehicles. The problem is you get your ground vehicle out and then you hit 2,000 rocks on the way between you and the bunker. But yeah, they need some love. They need some love for sure.
Yeah, for definite.
Cool. We've got about 1:40 to make content on before we pull the lucky winner of the Drake.
Do you want to talk about the ship that people are going to be in with a chance of winning, and how you've got a minute? Should we post a link in chat? You have a minute. If you have not entered yet, you have literally 1 minute. Let me get the link.
Yeah.
Here we go. Doing you a favour, Drake Gollum. Here we go. You've got a minute to enter. Go to that link. Do as many as you can, because we're going to pull we're going to start pulling the winners, or the winner. Sorry, singular. But yeah, do you want to talk about the ship? What does the Drake Gollum mean to you, CJ? You're a Drake lover. Have you been using it? I know, Pete, you were interested in using it a bit more.
I haven't used it because I don't use mining ships to mine. So I use the Prospector purely because I can increase my power output by like 4,000%, which means it pops Polaris engines off in 20 seconds. So I've not actually used it, but yeah, I mean, I think it looks cool. I think a large scale sort of operation with a load of spare containers, the cargo, like the mineable containers, all lined up, and then you kind of like swap them out, like kind of like a big operation in Aaron's Halo, where you're just flying around mining stuff and taking it all back to like the Carrack, and then having a team doing refining missions and stuff will be really, really cool. But yeah, I don't think. Oh, you just missed out, Happy Raid. It's only just closed.
5,165 inches.
But yeah, I've not used it, but I think it would be a very, very nice ship and a perfect addition to someone's hangar. I would have it, but I've currently got like an account-bound pledge pack, and my mining pledge pack is currently a Prospector. So obviously, price-wise, I can't downgrade to a Gollum. Otherwise, I would have had that over the Prospector.
Yeah.
But yeah. I've not actually used it properly though. Have you managed to get any use of it, or
Me?
Fly around with it much? Yeah, well, either of you.
Have you, Pete? I have a little bit, but I was going to ask you first.
I took it racing.
Okay. So I have taken it.
Of course.
Nimble, fast little mining ship. It's fantastic. I wouldn't mind filing that in its own series for Ammo Esports or next year. Besides that, no, I haven't. And I do mean to get out and do more mining. It's one of these things. It's almost like a chore. Like, I mean to go and do that, but executive hangars, baby, let's go. Let's camp outside and see what happens if you die. I'll spawn and I'll come again. Like, it's T0. Let's go. Talk about let's go. Is it time?
It is.
I have it here.
It is time.
The competition has ended. It's just a case of refreshing this, yeah?
Yeah, I'll tell you when.
Ooh,
all right.
Drum roll in the chat, please.
All right, we're going to draw the winner.
Ooh.
Here we go. Oh, refresh whenever you're
3, 2, 1.
ready.
Refreshing! Kate B.
B.
Entry 3,120.
Nice.
Come on down.
Wow, there we go. Come on down.
Very nice. Congratulations to whoever won that. Obviously, Ruben's kicking off because it's yet another QD giveaway that he hasn't won.
There'll be more, brother. There'll be more.
But yeah.
This point where we just see the view count just plummet.
Oh,
now.
awesome.
Thanks for checking in.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously that goes out via an email to the individual anyway. So if they're not here, then they'll still get that call, won't they?
Yeah, I'll drop them an email and let them know.
So that prize was
Cool.
courtesy of Mr. O, who is in chat on behalf of the Jump Point Network, which is the one place to go if you are looking to organise greetings and meetups amongst the Star Citizen and wider space sim enthusiasts, Star Wars, Star Trek, you name it, community. That's going to be the place to go, especially for those in the UK. But he's also reaching out, or branching out, should we say? So America, anywhere you can think of, it's the internet, babes. Let's go.
It's like a plague. It's getting into everything.
Cool. So, giveaway out of the way. What are we hoping to see from the rest of Invictus launch week?
I
don't know, the hull changing? Something cool?
Do you know what I was hoping for?
Anything.
And I think I might be alone with this because it means more money that we're paying. But they do the patch bundles. So you got the free Vanguard patch bundles, and they've got the cool art, well, if you like them, the cool armor and the Volt SMG skins. They've got 3 of them: the True Valor, the Clawed Steel, and the New Dawn. I'm not a big Vanguard ship fan. I used to be. I really, really liked the Vanguards a few patches ago. And then over recent times, I'm kind of like, I don't really find them useful. PvE, they're decent. But for PvP stuff, I'm like, maybe not sure. So I was kind of hoping that we would see, because Aegis Day was day 1, right? And that's an Aegis ship. I just assumed that patch bundle was for those 2 days. And I was kind of hoping that as each day came along and we had the different manufacturers, we would then have the patch bundle for Anvil Day. And it might be 3 free ships from the Anvil lineup that have skins and paints and stuff. So I was kind of hoping we were going to get that each day. So no matter what ship you used, you would have something cool. Because I would love to buy that armor and that skin, but I'm not going to buy it. I don't want the Vanguard because I don't fly it, if that makes sense. So it's 30 quid's a lot of money for something I don't fly, basically.
I've just been looking for it. I was like, yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
What's it?
Because
yeah, everyone's got that one ship they like, haven't they? The one that's sort of like always staying. Like, so for me, I will always have a Herald, just because I know it's the most pointless ship in the game currently. One of the most pointless ships, currently above every Origin ship. But it's just such a nice ship, and it's something I really, really like. So if it came out with a bespoke skin just for the Herald, that, cool, was Warbond, came with a specific armor set that you could only get with the Herald paint pack, then I would probably buy that. But that's the only one I would buy.
Right, well, not the Herald, but yeah, that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
I was hoping that each day...
Yeah, you would. You would.
I would not. It's not a bribe. I was hoping that each day would be something different. Or every 2 days we'd have like, oh, look, it's now Anvil Day. The Carrack has 3 skins and some armor and the new Volt SMG, whatever. I was just hoping we'd have something else because I would have spent my money on that if it was rolling daily. And I'm sure loads of other people would have. It's economics 101, right? You create demand by creating scarcity. So you say
FOMO.
these are only going to be on sale for 2 days. Yeah, FOMO. It's the sale of FOMO. It's economics 101. You just sell it. You just sell it. You go, this is only going to be on sale for 2 more days. Buy it or lose it. And then people miss out. So they buy it because they don't want to miss out. So I'm surprised they didn't do something like that for Invictus. I think they kind of missed a trick there. Again, it's all cosmetic, so I've got no problem with them selling cosmetic stuff. Other than them giving you a Volt SMG, but they're so easy to get. I've already collected 4 different paints or different variants of the SMG, the new Volt one, down at Hathor. They've got some nice skins, some new skins on the Volt assault rifles too. I found an all bright red Volt assault rifle. I haven't seen one of those before. So I think they've now added more skins to the assault rifle variant of it. So yeah, it's a good reason to get looting down at those stations.
I feel quite meh. This is
that'd be
It is Warbond only.
It is a bit of a missed opportunity. If they had the same 3 armors but different skins per day, so 2 for Aegis, 2 for who is it at the moment? Argo.
Who is it right now?
Argo, RSI, and
So say for
Not
instance,
RSI today, is
what is it?
imagine like you've got these, but for the Zeus,
Yeah, it is.
that would be spicy. That for the Zeus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
would
If it was
be.
a Zeus patch day and they had different skins, or the Valor, I really think they missed a trick, man. I would have been all over that. I think a lot of people would have.
But people would be like, oh, it's predatory marketing.
Well,
Nah.
market must have crunched the numbers. Like they must have realised that it wouldn't have worked, and selling flight blades would have
I
made them more
guarantee
money.
you that would have made them more money than flight blades. I'm so certain of it.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Tenfold. Honestly, like tenfold more
And
money
no
as well. Like,
backlash.
the stonks would be uncomparable. Yeah. There'd be a bit of backlash, but nothing as bad as what
Can
they
I
had.
ask? This is a question for. This is a bit of a tangent now because I feel like we've come to the natural end of the topics we were going to talk about. So unless you're happy, you don't want me to move on. It's still about ships. It's a question that I don't know the answer for, and I don't know if you guys will know the answer for, or if the chat will know the answer for, or if no one will. So here it is. There's 2 Apollo variants, right? You have the Medivac and the Triage. So from what I understand, the Triage specifies that it has medical drones that will help you get your injured patients on board your ship by picking them up with tractor beams with a drone, semi-automated drone, and carry them onto the ship for you. That's what's sold with the Triage. The Medivac, which is the more expensive version of the Apollo, says it has a missile rack and armor, heavier armor, so that it can withstand being shot more when it comes in to pick up injured troops. But it does not specify that there are drones on board. Now, does it not specify it because it is just the step up from the Triage and it's just accepted that it's already on there and it comes with extra armor and missile rack and that's why it's not mentioned? Or is it not mentioned because it doesn't have it and the Triage does, and that's the difference between them, albeit the Triage is cheaper? That's my question. Does the Medivac have drones? Is the TLDR?
They should have a sign.
I don't think they do. I think they suit certain purposes, right? So one's designed to medivac people from hot locations and be able to withstand the fire, and the individuals would then get taken straight onto the ship and then extracted back to an Endeavour or a larger scale medical facility. The triage, you obviously would triage maybe in a safer location. So I think the premise is you would drop the drones off in maybe, it's more of a like a remote locations one. So imagine the Coast Guard picking people up off the rock faces and stuff like that. So maybe somewhere you don't necessarily want to individually put boots on the ground. You could extract people out sort of like remotely, but it's not a combat location. So it's a bit safer. You can pull people out from a remote location, maybe somewhere that doesn't have atmosphere, and for some reason none of your crews bought like spacesuits. You can just pick them up and then chuck them straight in the ship and go. So I think they're supposed to suit completely separate roles. Like one can't do the same as, well, they probably could overlap it ever so slightly, but I think the Medivac is designed to be hit, whereas the triage is designed for a more of a laid back role when it comes to extracting people. That's my think on it. And if it doesn't state it in the description, then it doesn't have it. So, in my opinion. But I will do a quick deep dive into that and have a look.
Cool. Yeah,
I don't know.
That was my question. Thanks, Pete. Put back to you in the studio.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't really have much of a clue there. But you have jogged a memory. We're supposed to be getting one or both of those.
The Medivac, because the triage has drones, I think, is the reason.
Does that mean confirmed for CitizenCon or IE?
We could talk about CitizenCon, but that's another whole thing. Maybe we should leave that till next week, because they say it's going to be 2 hours only or something. Anyway, I think that's a topic for next week. But yes, it's coming this year, the Apollo. I was hoping we're getting a bit of a revamp in medical gameplay. I reckon IAE. I reckon we'll get IAE. We'll get the Perseus and the Apollo. Which are they both RSI ships? Is the Perseus RSI? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it might be an RSI heavy IAE, and there'll be a bit of a storyline about RSI doing something, because we've got the Apollo and the Perseus coming. I think for IAE. I would imagine that's November, so that's after CitizenCon, right? So then they'll probably announce it at CitizenCon and say, this is coming at IAE, blah, blah, blah. Unless it's one of those sneaky CitizenCon releases like the Star Lancer Max or something, which is always a chance.
Grok says that they are both equipped with drones.
There we see. That's what I'm saying. Because it says the Medivac just says it has superior armor and missile racks, but it doesn't say it swaps out the drone for the missile rack.
Maybe it's like, eat your breakfast, eat your extra large breakfast with extra sausage. You're still getting your egg, your bacon, and everything, but you get extra sausage.
I want my extra sausage, bro. That's what I want. Come on.
They do both have images of the drone.
Okay.
So maybe because it hasn't been looked at all, there maybe is an overlap, an oversight of what it can and can't do. I would expect the Medivac to be doing the hard-hitting stuff and maybe transfer to a triage to do safer second line sort of like repairs. Maybe like the Medivac would stop like bleeding. They will still probably die if you don't get them out there quick enough. But then when you get them to the triage, then I think they're like stabilized until they get to like a hospital facility. I think that's how it should be. But at the minute the store pages the images are identical, other than the specific pictures. So like the triage, for example, with the red one, has a picture of the Medivac carrying with a drone. So there's overlap on what the pictures do. And then the duplicated pictures across both ships as well. So I just don't think CIG have put any effort into their store listings.
Makes sense.
To add any clarification or anything.
We will. Hopefully this year. This year's going quick, guys. It's already nearly June. I feel like it was Christmas yesterday. I feel like we were sitting in our little group at CitizenCon, gawking at the weather tech with Starkitect and the lightning hitting the Zeus, just a week or two ago, and it's we're closing in quickly to a year. So yeah, it's crazy, but it's going to be. I'm excited that we're nearly another whole step closer to Squadron 42. I can't lie. End of next year, right?
Well, we hopefully are.
They've given 2026. They have to release on that date now, surely.
They gave 2015 like back on the OG pledge. So we will see.
We will see.
We will see soon. TM. But I mean, I think we've covered all the topics pretty spot on. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about in particular.
Chat, what do you want to
Think
hear
we
about?
made good use of the time.
Salty CJ.
Yeah?
Well,
don't even.
Going off of Citizen,
It's like,
going off of CitizenCon and what we saw there, the Squadron 42 gameplay, I am a little excited for Alien Week.
I want the Raylan, please. If Dan's watching this, if Dan's sitting there secretly watching this, he hasn't said anything in chat today, but he usually does support.
He's here.
Dan, I need you to go into work. So it's Monday morning tomorrow. You got to go in, get yourself a nice coffee, something double shot espresso. Go straight up to Jonker and be like, bro, get this Raylan cooking. Alien Week's on the way next month. I desperately want a new alien ship, and the Raylan is the only ship that I'm really keen to see. But I don't know how you guys feel. I know the Merchantman's what a lot of people want to see, but I feel like that's going to be the very last ship to come out ever. So I don't know. Unless we'll probably get like a
Odyssey be
no,
later.
Don't say it. Don't say it. There's no chance. The Odyssey's coming out soon. Odyssey's coming out end of this year. TM. Confirmed.
That's outrageous.
Right.
They said they were working on the big mist ship, so I've taken that away as the Odyssey's coming. Anyway.
Yeah. So Ruben wants to know about our pricing for the Asgard. Do you know what? I reckon it's exactly the same price as the Valkyrie. Always seems to be the order of business. It should be more, but no, I reckon it'll be exactly the same.
How much is the Valk?
Yeah,
Let me find out.
Go on, CJ.
375.
Exactly.
Is
That's
it
what
that
I'm
much?
thinking in my head, but I don't want to give an incorrect stat. So let me go and look it up.
I think it'd be more.
It should be less, right? It should be considerably less because the Valkyrie carries dropship tax. Every dropship is like $100 more than it should
carry
be.
a tonk.
This is essentially a dropship,
375.
though.
Well,
What
it's
makes it not a
though.
dropship?
The only thing it's going to drop is itself out of the sky because it doesn't drop people
How
off.
does it not though? It has all the only difference between the Valk and the Asgard.
Doesn't have jump.
Yeah, it doesn't have jump seats. That's it. That's literally it.
So it's a vehicle transport ship.
But there's nothing stopping you.
So it's a light transport.
But,
so it's the same as
agreed,
the Liberator.
but the drop seats are RP. You don't need them. You can just lay on the floor or stand there. If you put it into brass tacks of what it offers in the game, drop seats are completely pointless. They're RP tools to sit there and go, yeah, we're going down. Well, hopefully that changes. I really hope it does as well. But at least for now, they're just for role playing. They don't actually do anything. So I don't know. I just feel like the Asgard does everything the Valkyrie can do and more. So I think it should be worth more money. You can transport a tonk, for Christ's sake, an MTC and a tonk, and drop them off, and you can shoot said tonk on the way down the ramp. It's a pretty beefy ship, and the 6 Panthers at the front are unbelievable. But yeah, I think it should be worth more.
But what Ruben's just said, like, really the step up from 375 is 400, and the C2 can carry double the Atlas vehicles. The C2 can carry 2 tonks. Like, it shouldn't be comparable in price to the likes of the C2.
So I reckon you'll see it coming in at 375, the exact same price as the Valkyrie. But I see what you're saying, Ruben. Like, it doesn't matter the price, Valkyrie owners are always going to be pissed off. Yeah, but that's because they brought out the paint pack, which basically covers the Liberator Edition Valkyrie and also the 2950 Valkyrie. So those that have got them, either one, the other, or both, are like, oh, there's going to be a ship that looks exactly like mine, but like for normal price. Oh, how convenient. Which is good for you, yes.
So that's why you don't
I
like
love
the idea of it coming out at the same price.
I want more ships. I want utility across all variants, essentially. Like, there's so much variations of vehicles on our roads. Let's see that in game. I want it to get to the point where it's like completely stupid to go, I'm going to collect everything. Like, I want it to be too big for everyone to have everything.
I would love to have it so every single ship or every single role in the game has at least like 5 ships that can do that role. So 5 ships that can do what the Vulture can do. We've got 2 at the moment, arguably 3 with the Reclaimer as well. I want to see at least another 2. I know we've got the Arastra on the way. I know that's mining, isn't it? It's not salvage. Yeah, I want to see like another 2 salvage ships at least. I want variety of the same size, the same kind of spec. So I don't want to see just prospectors when I go mining.
Yeah. I want to see Argo.
I want to
see Argo utilize the MPUV and make that into a super small mining and salvage variant.
Yeah, I want to see more from Argo.
Yeah, we need an Argo transformer. And you know, in like Transformers, when they all like click together and create a big transformer, or actually no, the better one is probably Power Rangers. Do you know all the Power Rangers all come together? We need an Argo mothership that has all the little Argo ships and like they flip on the outside and
we're getting
has all
Power
the different
Rangers.
attachments.
It's a new Antium
That's what we
armor.
need. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Raftron. Yeah. Well, I mean, I reckon the Raft does need that cargo grid to be able to pick up things like a tonk.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Because then it would instantly make things like the Asgard null and void if a better manufacturer is doing it, like Argo.
I'd still like to see a Valkyrie variant where it didn't have any of like the interior in the back half. It was just purely land on top of like a tonk, connect it, and off you go. And you can literally straight drop them and lift off from that. Like quick release.
That would be cool.
Yeah, underslung sort of like load.
I mean, they've already got
the
the tassel points on the Ursa. So it's something that at least functionality over
just grav
style,
lift,
right?
just a big grav lift machine that just like uses gravity or even metal, like the mag boots. You could have a big magnet thing that picks up tonks and ground vehicles because there's going to be metal in them. Flies over, turns on the big magnet, Breaking Bad style, magnets bitch. It goes zoop, and just goes straight to the bottom. Off you go, and you can just hot drop them. Fly in, turn off the magnet. That'd be sick.
CJ, this is for you. All right.
No, I'm sorry. That picture that he just put up is that picture he put up is cursed, bro.
Wrong link. Sorry, everyone.
It has virus. Don't open it.
Your computer has a virus. This.
But yeah, and there's plenty of things I'm hoping come eventually as well. I would love to see something like that where it could undersling certain vehicles.
Who came up with that?
But
that's
Defender of the Persistent Universe. It's not even watermarked.
Roberts told you.
I was going to say it's not even watermarked, but the creator would not want to have their name associated with that.
Apparently, it was Jared in an ISC.
The most hideous creation inside Sarcasm has come from you, though, CJ.
Oh God, yeah.
Activate the emoji, someone, please. But you know it.
So I got it.
There you go.
Abomination.
Yeah, it's quite. It's quite funny.
So, rest of Fleet Week awaits us. This is your light. You know what, Ruben? You get enough like shit for being. You just copy the stuff from RSI and post it. But do you know how often we refer to your Twitter feed purely because it's got all the information? So don't change, my friend. Here we go. So.
I blocked him.
May 18th, obviously last day of Origin, RSI, and Argo, moving into May 19th, 20th. We can see consolidated Outlands with Misk and Mirai. Can be interesting to see what comes up there. 21st, 22nd,
Well, we got the MX.
Yeah, we do.
So.
We've got the Crusader and Tumbril before. I'm looking forward to the 23rd, 24th. It's be the sickest days. Hopefully we're going to see the Paladin drop, but we'll see it in him. No.
I really want it to. I'm gagging for it to. I just don't think so.
Is this one of these things where you're not letting yourself build up, but you're really hoping that you're going to be wrong and it's going to be released?
I think with it's partly that, but also when you look at like the Idris, people figured out it was coming pretty quick and there was a lot of chatter. The Paladins kind of just had a bit of a glancing nod like, oh, maybe, but that was kind of it. That was just a rumor, right? So I don't think so. It would be amazing, but I don't think so.
Just quickly, is anyone...
It would get slapped by Idris.
Anyone in the chat from Germany? I need to know, because this has just come up for sale. I need it. I want it. You give
That's
it now.
cool.
Oh,
that is beautiful. I don't know where I would keep it, but I would get rid of a lot of stuff to host that in my house. Wow.
It's nice.
Germany is an hour away. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like 2 hours away from us as well, really. Depends what time you go. But yeah. But also you did bypass the main event.
Yeah, well, supposedly it's not happening.
The whole.
Apparently, Spectrum said it's cancelled.
No, it's happening. Nah.
Okay,
it's not cancelled.
May 25th, 1 day only, because that's apparently all they're worth, is Draken's Planetary before the finale, 26th, 27th.
They have the whole day to themselves as well.
Yeah, so does Anvil, bro.
It's
got 2 days. There's no...
Yeah, and? That's because their ships are pointless. They just need people to walk around. They just need to feel useful.
Are you hoping to see the Iron Chad?
Yeah.
This is a stupid
No.
question, isn't it? Really, everyone's hoping. No,
No.
people that want to own it are looking forward to it. People that don't want to see it are not looking forward to it, and people that don't know what it is are going to find out soon.
Very, very quickly. I'm interested about it because, as Ruben said, it's no defense con.
Yeah,
And they've announced apparently there is a way they've got themselves into it. That was the law was they've managed to find a way in.
It's got to be a new
So
ship.
for me, that's a law change. That's not happened. It's been defense con every year. So there's law changing, and I quite like the law in the game. So I'm interested to see how quote unquote
Is
they've got
Invictus UEE like hosted by UEE?
It's a defense sort of like event.
So
it's military, like military contractors only.
So yeah,
really.
what about?
So if they've got an official seat, they have a
They've
military
got a contract with Invictus. It could be the Ironclad or the Iron Chad, like the militarized version for cargo. They've signed with the UEE, and that's going to be their cargo vessel of choice, potentially something like that.
Fuck.
Yeah, there's maybe something new is coming with Drake.
Yeah.
Then maybe we are getting the Iron Chad, unless it's that really weird Drake ship that we saw. Do you remember that weird one that looked all funky shape wise? It could be something to do with that. Because I've heard rumblings of a heavy Drake fighter in the works, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see the Iron Chad.
I don't have it to hand, but I would love
We
to
will
see
see.
the skin for the Buccaneer released. Let's see if I can find it.
Mm.
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
What do you reckon the finale would be? Do you reckon there's anything in the finale? Because like I was expecting a fly past this year, and
I'm
stuff
hoping the
like that,
Idris will like
and
undock and
we've
fly
had
around the
nothing.
entire map, like station to station, and leave Area 18 or something.
So I'm thinking, have you loaded the game up? Have you read the title, the splash screen that comes up when you load the game up?
There's I know what you're going to say.
And it's talking about security based on the game. I'm wondering if there's going to be a big event that kicks off on the final day, and it's, I don't know, Xeno threat come back with an Idris, and they start attacking the
I hope
whole,
it's not
or,
that.
I don't know.
I hope it's
something.
I hope it's not Xeno threat. I really hope it's something like, because they've got the Vandal models now, right? With Squadron, it'd be really cool if they had like, there's been a Vandal swarm registered coming into Arc Corp. We need all hands, and everyone's got to go to the skies from Area 18, to above the planet, and there's just a Vandal swarm with loads of Vandal ships, and it's just about fighting them off. That would be a really cool event. Call to arms, everyone at Area 18 defend from the Vandal. Sick. They've got the models. We know they've got the models.
Yeah.
What's really stopping them do something like that? In my head, nothing. So that would be really cool.
That would be pretty cool.
So I
I'd love to see this something.
found the skin I was talking about. The pirate skin. It kind of makes it a little bit like an X-wing in its color scheme, but also, I want that.
Yeah, it's cool. Really cool.
I see Ruben saying he wants them to release the wind paint because that means the Odyssey is ready. I have that paint. I'm also looking forward to that. We're all Odyssey fans here.
Yeah. Odyssey is literally my most anticipated ship. I hope there are some paints that are only ownable in game, like stuff that you have to do, for completing a certain gameplay loop, or completing a certain Wicklow missions, something like that would be really cool.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, we can talk about what's going to happen. I reckon we refocus this effort and we talk about it after it's happened next week. Because we've already overran.
Yes.
So
Just so passionate about the subject, that's what it is. I think that's it for us. Thanks to everyone in chat. Congratulations to the winner, Kate B, on the Drake Golem giveaway with LTI. Courtesy of the Jump Point Network, your go-to place for Star Citizen meetups in the UK. And we will see you next week.
we will. I don't know about One Dark. He's more interested about football, but we'll see how
One Dark will
his
be on the
game goes.
train.
Yeah, we'll do it then. Right, ciao for now, gang. See you soon.
Goodbye.
See you later.